Hello, everyone. Good morning to all of you. Uh, I'm Vishal there on the behalf of NovelVista. I welcome all of you for today's webinar, and I'll be today's host for this webinar. I request all of you to use your chat button in case I'm not audible, and request you to inform us. I would repeat myself. I hope I'm audible to each one of you. In case I'm not audible or you're unable to hear me, please use the chat option to inform us. All right, I have got few of the responses which are positive. Okay, let me quickly start with the quick brief about NovelVista. NovelVista is an accredited training organization and is an 8-year-old company. We provide trainings and certifications and have already trained more than 30,000 participants across various practices, processes, and technologies. Being one of the largest training organizations with a huge portfolio of more than 2,000 courses and a team of 300 plus trainers, we have always believed in knowledge sharing. And one of such knowledge sharing activities is webinars, wherein we introduce our participants to industry experts. In order to stay connected for further updates on webinars, if you want to register for future webinars or any other initiatives from Novel Vista, I request you to simply send us a message on the mentioned number on WhatsApp and stay connected with us for any further updates. Let me quickly introduce today's speaker, Dr. Rahul Godke. Dr. Rahul Godke is currently working as a Vice President Consulting at CGI India and heads innovation and transformation projects and has vast experience in developing and managing SaaS-based ITSM tooling solutions. Dr. Rahul is a technology enthusiast with a brilliant track record of delivering breakthrough innovations at leading multinational IT companies. Rahul has led various efforts, including digital transformation design and user experience strategy, uh, new product development, technology prototyping, and complex software development programs. Rahul has a postgraduate diploma in information management from SP Jain Institute of Management Research, Mumbai, and a Doctor of Communication Design Information System from School of Information Arts and Technology, University of Baltimore, USA. Rahul is also a certified project management professional from a certified project management institute, USA, and holds expert masters and foundation certifications in ITIL from ISEB, UK, and Excel, Netherlands. He's a frequent speaker at multiple international conferences on IT service management, project management, and high maturity best practices, and has received numerous leadership awards as well. So, I will quickly hand over this session to Dr. Rahul. Dr. Rahul, am I audible to you?
Yes, you are. And am I audible to the entire audience?
Yes, I can hear you pretty clearly, and I have made you the presenter.
Okay.
So I request you
So,
to take this over. I can see your screen now as well.
yeah, I just want to minimize this so that doesn't become a distraction for us. Where do I? Okay. So let me first thank Vishal and Novel Vista for this brilliant opportunity to present. And I before I start, I just want to make sure that you understand the importance of this topic because all of us are in uncertain times, and I can tell you one thing before I even start uh, the presentation for today, that the enterprises who are managing or uh, are in a position to survive are the enterprises who are digitally enabled today. With that said, I will open up the presentation with my the first slide. The reason why I have this here is because I think we are in a extremely uncertain times of COVID-19. And as the industries have evolved over a period of time, there are new technologies, newer avenues of business that are opening up. But keep in mind that there is a significant amount of challenge that we see in the market specific to subscribing to these newer technologies and also making sure that people consume this day in day out. I just made a statement that the companies who are striving are the ones that are digitally enabled. I think it's pretty clear. I can give you some good examples. Banks like uh, the public sector banks like SBI, they are surviving because they have a YONO which is digitally enabled. Some of the smart cities are surviving across India and across the world where they've got things digitized. And all this is possible because of one key thing. These are the early entrants, or these are the enterprises and groups who have taken the journey of digital transformation way before others. And let me tell you that the journey of digital transformation is not uniform across all the enterprises that are there that we support as far as the IT is concerned. With that said, what I also want to give you is a uh, good example of what's happening across certain sectors that I'm engaged with. I'll start with energy. Yeah, the energy sector has seen a tremendous amount of digital transformation, right from smart metering to IoT, to use of business analytics to understand the consumption of the overall utility of the products that are offered in the energy sector. The financial services as a industry has evolved and transformed on the backbone of digital. Uh, Today we can open accounts without really visiting a bank branch. The simple example is, and I'm going to take Indian examples, a broker like a stockbroker like Zerodha. Yeah, within 5 minutes, your KY, right from your KYC to account opening to getting you enabled to start trading, is all done without a single touch point. So that's a fantastic example of how companies have taken the route of digital transformation and being able to open up newer business avenues and are reaping the benefit of being digital. In the retail space, uh, especially in the North America, there's a lot that is done. And I'll give you an example of what I have personally experienced specific to retail. And this is I would say, the mother of all kind of example as far as the digital transformation is concerned. Now, this was way back in December, where I was in US trying to uh, search for a particular product. So I went to the retailers, used my handphone and went to the retailer's app, opened up a certain category of products that I want to purchase, and then once I shortlisted, I added the product to my shopping cart and decided not to go ahead with the procurement because I thought the store to pick it up is next door, and instead of waiting for 3 days for the delivery to be at the doorstep, I thought it makes sense to go to the store next to my hotel where I was staying to pick it up. But guess what? What happened after that was really a fantastic experience. So the same evening when I went to the retailer's storefront, I started getting messages in terms of where I can go and pick up the product that I want. I actually went to that aisle where it directed me. It actually showed me a store map in terms of which aisle and which row I need to go and pick up the product that I was looking for, and which was on my iPhone app. So when I went there, I looked at the product and I thought, I should go and check out other options. So I started getting away from the aisle, and the app started throwing me notifications stating that, you know what, this is the best price. This is holiday season. This is the best price that you could get for the product, and this is the lowest for the last 6 months. And it also showed me the competitor price specific to the product that I was looking for. And then when I went to other aisle, it told me the other options that I can evaluate as compared to the product that I selected. And then at the end of the overall assessment, I picked up the product that I wanted, which was the same as what I had shortlisted earlier. and then made the payment at the point of sale terminal, which was in the storefront, and then exited out of the retail store. So the app also notified me, stating that I thanks for the purchase, and then it also told me that I have been enrolled for a loyalty management program, and I've got 10 units or 10 points of loyalty. Now, guess what? What has gone behind the entire experience at the back is a whole lot of visual analytics. There were cameras within the store that were tracing my movement. There was a whole lot of analytics used at the back end to give me statistical information in terms of the price of the product, the comparison between the product price in the store versus the other competitors. There was a whole lot of other so-called persona based benchmarking done in terms of why I should go ahead and purchase this, and what benefit I will get by purchasing this. So this I guess is the best example of how retailers are today using the benefit of digital and transforming their legacy storefronts into more I would say autonomous kind of a operating model. In manufacturing, I don't have to explain, I think the entire robotic operations and the autonomous supply chain model has been now being a status quo for quite some time. The last one is around the smart cities, and I did mention that in the COVID-19 situation, the smart cities across the globe are surviving and are in a position to offer services to the consumers, because there is a whole lot that is still required. There's a nationwide lockdown, but we still need a lot of support from the local government, from our offices, from our hospitals and various services that I consume on a daily basis. So all that is to some extent possible. I am not saying that it's 100% running if it's a smart city, but at least people who have the smart city ecosystem are in a position to manage this lockdown much better than people who don't have this kind of an ecosystem. And I can tell you that majority of our cities today in India don't have this kind of ecosystem as compared to some of the cities in Europe and North America. The journey of digital is not uh, I would say to a level where everyone is considering, or everyone has experienced digital. So what you see here is a study that we did in CGI, where we interviewed close to around 1,500 or 1,500 of our customers, and this survey is done with the customer CIOs and CTOs and CEOs. So one thing is pretty clear, that a whole lot of our clients are right now experimenting or in the process of setting up their digital front offices, or setting up their digital services. A whole lot is today required to push them to the next zone and make them, and I would or enable them to start realizing the benefit of digital. So when you look at the left hand side, you'll see that there's a tremendous amount of money spent on managing the obvious, which is the managing the run cost, or the legacy platforms, and very little is really invested in innovation. So as you move towards the the right, which is actually pushing your organization or enterprise from being a legacy organization to a more digitized, or an organization that has got the digital services, there is a huge amount of investment that can be pushed in on digital by making sure that the legacy is to some extent automated, or the cost of legacy is reduced. The reason why I'm showing this is because it's important for us to know that there is a lot of buzz in the industry, but as what we have experienced with our customer, the customers still need support. And I can give you a simple example. A lot of our customers are looking at agile delivery model, looking at cloud as their way of life. But let me tell you, some of them have just got vision, few of them got POCs going. A majority of them are struggling to migrate their estate to cloud. So the benefit will only be realized when you move to cloud, get the agility, get the flexibility with the applications model in the microservices kind of an architecture, and then rolling out further upgrades in a more seamless manner so that you can have services rolled out in a manner where your clients don't even, it's so seamless and your clients needs are taken care more than real time. But the other thing that I also want to communicate here is the uh, the 40% of the the enterprise class that we interviewed are right now in a zone where they need support post so-called baselining or post setting up the platform, or post completion of the project phase one, to optimize and to understand how to drive value once the digital programs are enabled. There are two challenges here that we see. One is enabling digital, and the other one is once the digital is enabled, and it can be as simple as setting up a IoT farm, or getting certain applications in cloud, or launching new applications on cloud, and getting the plumbing done with the on-prem infrastructure and application stack. So this is the phase one. But then the second challenge that we have seen, which is pretty evident, is helping clients once they complete their phase one of digital programs, helping them to realize the benefit and adopt and absorb the change. That's extremely important, because one thing is pretty clear, that there is enough mess or confusion when it comes to going digital. The big challenge that we face today is to balance the requirements of the business and the IT users. The business users have got obviously requirements in terms of growing their client base, the new service launches, making sure that some of the costs associated with IT are reduced on the legacy side, and more investments are pushed on the digital side. Continuously be in a position to address client needs, and be in a position to launch newer offerings in a seamless manner. uh, or as far as the IT is concerned, IT has got a different set of challenges to address. Obviously, bringing in efficiency is one such challenge that the IT has to manage. Being proactive and being in on top of issues and being in a position to reduce the response time is another thing. And obviously, the underpinning agreement between the business and the IT needs to be also re-baseline considering the digital programs. So it's important to balance the act between the business owners and the IT service providers when it comes to setting up digital programs. Now, one thing is pretty clear, that uh, in order to subscribe to the newer digital frameworks and to consider a digital program, and that program can be linked to launching a new service, or transforming an existing service. Technology is a key enabler, and there are various technology stacks that are today enabling digital transformation. And one key thing that I want to call out here is the data analytics has come out as I would say, top ranked technology stack, along with automation, which is used by a lot of our clients to drive some of their digital programs. For example, financial services as a domain are consuming a whole lot of big data or analytics to launch new services, to assess the user personas and give recommendations, use machine learning techniques on the basis of personas that are built using analytics. As far as our sectors like manufacturing are concerned, they are more or less dependent on automation to drive faster production, to reduce the waste, to cut on production cost. And then the big enabler in terms of driving agility across various industries is the emergence of cloud. So when you want to move fast, and when you want to launch services faster or transform your existing ecosystem, cloud has provided that level of flexibility. As you guys know that when we talk about cloud, we're not just limiting ourselves to IaaS or infrastructure as a service. cloud has multiple facets. It spreads across PaaS, SaaS. You've got multiple cloud service providers today. You've got Amazon, AWS, Oracle, Alibaba, and then I guess there are a whole lot of local cloud service providers today. The reason why cloud has become a big consideration when it comes to digital is because of the flexibility and agility it offers to drive transformation at a rapid pace. I can also give you some examples where our clients have used cloud services as pure APIs to transform their existing business model. And I cannot name the clients, but I can quote an example of one of our clients in the Nordics area, in the European area, where they had a challenge of setting up a big data application stack in the data center. They struggled for almost 6 to 8 months, and the struggle was not on the technology, but it all started by getting the right kind of skills or the resources to set up the technology stack, making sure that the resources who they have hired understand the business need, and then once the business need is assessed, make the purchases. And let me tell you that these purchases or the technology that is required for analytics is not coming cheap. And then they made purchases. They locked themselves or made they procured licenses of applications of from a certain ISV or the independent service provider, software provider. But what happened is, after the first 3 to 4 months, they realized that the technology that they have procured is not good enough to take care of the business requirements, and it was very difficult for them to exit out from the investments that they are already locked themselves in. Now, this is a scenario where if you want to do something on-prem and want to test out something new, there's a huge cost of failure if you fail. But look at it from a cloud point of view. So if I want to test out analytics I can simply subscribe to analytics as a service, and we have tons of services available on Azure, AWS, Oracle, and other cloud service providers. I can get few skilled members or skilled resources to quickly test out the offerings that are there on one of the cloud service provider. Check in less than 1/10 of the time whether the application that we want to subscribe to or the service that we need to subscribe to is getting me the required results or not. And if not, I can just unsubscribe and look at other options that are there on other service providers, or within the same service provider if there are other technologies that are complementary to the one that I've tested. So this gives me a tremendous amount of flexibility and agility, and there is no lock-in. So the first part that I mentioned, where the customer went and procured licenses, here the on the cloud, it is pay as you go. So if you decide not to consider the service, you can just unsubscribe it and move to another one. So this gives you a tremendous amount of flexibility, and your innovation is much rapid, and your agility will drive faster outcome using cloud services. And then there are other emerging technologies that we feel are driving when it comes to digital. And I think as far as the financial services industry is concerned, blockchain is one such technology that has become paramount or key consideration for transformation when it comes to adding newer services that are digitally enabled. As far as the front office or the front channel is concerned, mobility and AR, VR, augmented reality, and virtual reality has become a pretty common technology stack to be considered. I think the retailers are using AR, augmented reality, and virtual reality to the fullest extent. If you happen to visit US and go to one of those Bose showrooms, you can actually wear one of the AR headset and literally be in a theater room and experience the product. And this is how the customer experience is changing using new technologies. The data analytics and artificial intelligence has become pretty common. Video analytics, and again, I want to take you back to the example of the retailer that I gave at the beginning of this session. Video analytics is very actively used to trace movements within the shop, to give insights to the consumers, to drive. If I'm a consumer, I will get more insights, and I will be empowered to make informed decisions. And video analytics is also playing a key role there, combined with analytics and big data, and obviously artificial intelligence. IoT has become a common thing, or the foundation for digital transformation when it comes to manufacturing and utilities. A lot of these sensors are placed in remote locations by the oil and gas enterprises to manage the earlier or erstwhile unmanned assets. And if there is a failure, the failure is picked up within few seconds, and the remediation is also done within few seconds. So earlier, what used to happen was, when things were down in unmanned locations, the assets were then serviced by dispatching someone to go manually and fix it. Here with the IoT, the performance of the last mile of the asset, which is set up in a oil field or unmanned place, can be traced in a manner where data is available real time, and the automation downstream can also kick in if there is a service degradation or performance degradation, if it is noticed. So this is how, I guess, the newer emerging technologies are playing off. Now, as far as the overall digital framework is concerned, we as CGI look at it in three different broad categories: the front office, the middle office, and the back office. The back office is the technology backbone, and we've already discussed some of the technology enablers, and few of them are listed at the bottom. The IT modernization, applications and infrastructure, say cyber security, agile and DevOps, hybrid cloud, are some of the key back office service transformation and technology transformation programs. As far as the middle office is concerned, which is predominantly the application centric framework, a lot of our clients are trying to retire from the existing legacy applications and considering or pivoting out to SaaS. So one such example is some of our insurance clients are moving out from their old mainframe applications and considering newer SaaS technologies like Guidewire, and there are tons similar to Guidewire that are enabling digital insurance management with automation embedded. A lot of our customers are actually using the techniques of RPA, AI to automate legacy processes. Payments has gone through a complete transformation. We are in the world of digital valleys, and payments using your applications in the US. You don't have to really apply for a credit card. Some of your bank applications can be used to make payments at the digital uh, point of sale terminals, if you are at a retailer or if you're at a grocery store, and if the grocery store is enabled with the right point of sale terminal, you can use your bank applications, and those applications can become credit cards. As far as the front office is concerned, transforming the entire digital experience has become extremely important, and obviously focus on innovation and collaboration. A lot of our clients have now started looking at newer investments with a digital first as a strategy, and this is to make sure that we drive customer value, we bring in rapid innovation, and also look at considering uh, failures. If see One needs to also look at uh, uh, the other aspect of digital, and there is data outside that I can also quote here, that 70% of digital programs today have not really delivered the right value, and this is quoted by the likes of Gartner and IDC and others. So if you're going to fail, you have to fail fast and correct fast. So not all programs are right when they get launched for the first time. And I can give you an example of the same case as what I quoted. One of the banks launched their digital front office, I would say unmanned branch in India. And then for the first couple of months, they faced a tremendous amount of challenge to satisfy the client in the full context. And then I think if you visit the kiosk today, it's a completely different experience. The reason why they were able to transform faster was because they understood the pain fast. They were able to correct the situation much faster. They were able to baseline uh, the product and the services much faster, because they had considered agile model for software development. They had considered cloud as a base to launch the newer service. They were constantly taking feedback from the clients. They were tracking the consumption of the new service. They were using analytics to build a model where they were assessing the success and failure rate of the new service that was launched, and then they were using the same analytics to make changes to the products. So this is a fantastic example of how digital is helping clients to transform. And when it comes to marketing, I think the loyalty management program has been there for quite some time, but uh, putting a force multiplier to the loyalty management program by adding a digital angle of making real-time conversions, using visual analytics, using analytics, uh, picking up data from your applications and uh, from your past user history. If you're using the retailer's app, all that is really enabling faster marketing, and I would say an impactful and effective marketing. These services that are there in the market, and this is specific to the IT service providers. I think we see multiple services today being launched, and the reason why I'm showing you this is because each of you, if you are from the IT services industry, it is important for you to understand the fitment as far as your individual profile is concerned across these various different channels, various different services that are today launched by the service providers. And I can tell you that a whole lot of this is going to be uh, business as usual, maybe 2 or 3 years down the line, and we will have to sunset some of our legacy offerings. For example, the Internet of Things wasn't a focus area at least 3 4 years back when it comes to supporting large manufacturing clients from India, or maybe from locations like Europe and North America. But if you don't understand the concepts of IoT, and if you don't have the basic understanding of how to manage applications that are based on Internet of Things, and that are using the infrastructure of analytics to drive business outcomes, then you are far behind the curve. The same is the case with digital insights and cybersecurity. Cybersecurity has now become pivotal for the success and making sure that digital is secure. A whole lot of digital today is agile, and the agility is driven by using frameworks of cloud, frameworks of artificial intelligence, and if you look at why cybersecurity has become extremely important, is because today the digital programs constitute close to around 10 to 20% of the asset class of the customer. That means there is a whole lot of infrastructure and applications that are still on-prem in the uh, client-owned data center, or a colo site, or a third-party service provider data center. So there is a lot of plumbing that needs to be done between the on-prem and the on-cloud. And with this kind of an arrangement, not only the nodes that are there on-prem and on cloud have security threats, but also the plumbing exposes the security threats when it comes to hackers being in a position to control some of the assets that the client own. So cybersecurity has become extremely important, and I guess there's a tremendous amount of spend on cybersecurity linked to digital programs that are today uh, seen as common investments made by our clients. Our digital employee is predominantly around in automation, concepts like robotic process automation. So today clients are looking at automating some of their front office processes, Insurance companies are looking at claims processing to be fully automated. We've got applications where we are using AI to assess claims, and this is in the automobile insurance space, where the photographs are scanned uh, and loaded uh, by the person who's trying to claim insurance, and at the back end we've got a digital I would say service bot who actually will assess using AI, and this is an automated bot. The photographs are assessed for uh, the to assess the impact of the damage, and if the impact of the damage is something lesser than 10% as compared to the baseline image that we have, or the baseline images that we have stored, and this is a classic example of how we are using AI to the best. The claims are actually passed on for settlement without a human touch. So if we see that the photograph that was scanned and loaded, and typically, I don't know whether you know, if you have to load if you need to claim insurance, you have to take photographs of the car, uh, not one, but there are specified angles that you have to capture. So if you have done right in terms of capturing the photographs of the claim that you need to make, and then uploaded it on the insurer's platform, the AI at the back kicks in, assesses the platform, looks at the claim made, the various quotations submitted, and then builds a insurance persona of the claim. And then on the basis of the score that is built by this entire analytics and AI at the back, if it is not required to be sent to a second level adjudicator, it is automatically processed. So the benefit uh, to the uh, customer is, if I take the photographs right, and if I upload it in the right manner, my claims are processed within 24 hours. But if I don't do my stuff right, and if it's not been assessed properly, and if the claims are of higher value, it gets pushed to the next level. So there's a lot of transformation when it comes to the digital experience is concerned. The digital customer is another case where we're using a whole lot of other mobility-based technologies to transform the experience of the customers. And I think uh, the projects focused on customer-facing areas are things like setting up kiosks when it comes to financial services enterprises, setting up AR VR kind of uh, terminals in the storefronts to assess or experience the products. Touch screen based experience is today now, I would say, more or less common. If you visit a retailer in Europe, there are touch screen to take a photograph, and then select the shirt and the pant, or the tops that you want to purchase, and then drop it on your photograph, and you can see, you can get a visual of how you will look if you buy that particular product. So that's a very good transformation. I think one thing that I want to call out here is uh, these are what you see on the slide here are today the digital enablers from a technology point of view. Next generation data centers and cloud services, or the next generation networks, and this is pretty common in the telecom space, where they've taken the benefit of the SDNs and NFVs to drive transformation from 2G to 3G, from 3G to 4G, and now we're looking at 5G to be becoming the norm as far as the digital services are concerned in the telecom space. But one thing that I want to call out here is these themes, or these technologies, have a common native enabler, and that native enabler is automation. None of these themes would be efficient if they don't have a native automation capability. And it is extremely important for us to focus on automation, not just to manage legacy, but to also understand, absorb, and be in a position to execute our services in the IT industry using some of these technologies or leveraging some of these technologies in an efficient manner, the understanding of automation and orchestration is paramount for success. And the reason why I'm calling out this particular thing is because you know we have a mindset of shying away from automation in the fear of losing jobs, but I guess it's pretty clear that the newer jobs need to be only or the newer jobs are on the backbone of automation, and the newer jobs can only be secured if you are able to absorb how to use automation to the fullest and then transition yourself to pick up the newer technology stacks or learn or move out from what you're doing today on the legacy backbone to start working on the newer cloud service kind of or microservice kind of development programs or DevOps programs, or being in a position to support applications that are using heavy IoT and analytics. If you don't understand the science of automation, it'll be very difficult for you to transition, and the legacy is soon going to disappear. The reason why I have this here is because yeah, this example that you see here is a case where you would see that there are a whole lot of digital touch points today. Enterprises are using, and these are only limited that I have quoted here at the bottom. Uh, Enterprises are using various digital touch points. Some of the ones that are listed here are variables, a lot of print data, images, videos, social media content, blogs, web content, and obviously data from the CRMs and ERPs and the third-party data sets. So today the data is uh, is consumed across structured, semi-structured, or unstructured models. And then, and the reason why I'm quoting this is because this is a framework which is used by more or less everyone. And this is a very bold statement, but I can tell you that 95+% of the programs use this approach or this framework to come up with one or multiple digital programs or have what services on the backbone of this particular framework. So once the structured, unstructured data is subscribed, uh, there is a heavy consumption or heavy usage of big data and business intelligence, and this is using traditional BI techniques, or it can be using data lakes, or it can be using services from cloud service providers, using distributed computing environments. And then the next layer is to apply techniques of intelligent automation and cognitive automation. So the natural language processing comes into picture, the speech recognition comes into picture, machine learning, RPA, AI, and OCR comes into picture. So these are some of the common programs that we have seen launched by some of our clients, and the approach that I narrated is an approach that is taken by majority of our clients to transform or launch newer services that are digital. As a individual, it is extremely important for you to understand that to be relevant in the industry, reskilling and rediscovering your own self is important. So there are newer business models. So I can tell you that the financial services industry will go through a complete transformation in the next 3 to 5 years. It has already transformed quite a lot, but in the next 3 to 5 years, it is pretty evident that the BFSI sector as a whole will go through a tremendous transformation. And so is the case with manufacturing, so is the case with health sciences. Now we're talking about telemedicine being pretty common. And I'll give you an example of a transformed business model, and it is very relevant to the current scenario or situation that we are in. UK today is facing tremendous amount of challenge keeping up to the COVID-19 requirement. They don't have doctors available to address people who have got normal issues. So everyone is in the ICU. Everyone is trying to save a life that is impacted because of COVID-19. They have got a, a Watson-enabled service in their NHS, the National Health Services, that is the government medical service that is available to the citizen for free, where if I have got a issue which is a common issue, I can actually call up the NHS line, and there is a digital assistant or a digital doctor on the other side who will actually ask me question, and this conversation will be so interactive that you will not figure out whether it is a bot on the other side or a real doctor. And if the bot classifies that the issue that has been raised or the complaint made by the person is of certain category where you don't need intervention from a specialized doctor, there will be a prescription emailed to you, and you can go to the local pharmacist and pick up the medicines that are required. So the reason why I'm quoting this is because digital has helped NHS keep pace when we need the most today, and the same is the case with other industries. So there are newer business models. So today, if I need to be relevant in the IT industry to support a technology stack which is Watson enabled, I need to know analytics. I need to know speech recognition techniques. I need to be in a position to manage infrastructure of large distributed type to support this kind of a business model and these kind of applications. And the other thing that is important for you to also understand is think automation. Collaboration between machines and man to machine collaboration is extremely important. So when you are if you are in the production support area, I think the norm today that most of us follow is of 60-40. 60% human intervention, 40% technology-driven automation or technology-based or automation-enabled service support. So if you're not able to understand automation, then you will not be able to understand how to collaborate with the automation upstream to drive the right kind of outcome when it comes to supporting client environments. And for you to do that, you also need to consider automation as a part of your regular business as usual system management activities or application support activities. There are cases where people have started using automation for rapid software development. So if I need to build a particular form, if it's a repetitive type, people have started using automation frameworks. There are frameworks that are there in the market uh, who are helping some of the developers to build codeless applications. You can just drag and drop the widgets that are available. And I don't want to quote any technology because I'm not promoting any software as such, but there are very good technologies that are in the market. You can actually build a product without writing a single line of code. So codeless software development has become something that you can subscribe to build rapid software at a faster pace and be in a position to experiment. Design thinking has become another extremely important aspect when it comes to driving customer experience. And why it is important is because I guess the human computer interface, if it's visually appealing and engaging, it drives more and more outcome. I think it is pretty clear from or pretty evident from the surveys or the studies that we have at least looked at in the last couple of years, whether it is Gartner, IDC, or on our own voice of the customer. We've seen that the more engaging the interfaces are, the more outcome or the more business we can drive. So design thinking. So think design in what you're doing. Think about how you can actually drive a finer experience. Think unified. I think the challenge that we used to have in the past was the software was developed in a waterfall manner and it was thrown over the wall to the support teams to be rolled out into production, and then it used to take weeks and weeks to roll out a small patch or to roll out a new feature of an application. Now we are in the world of agile. There are multiple features and facets of multiple models of agile, multiple facets of agile. I don't want to quote anything, but it's pretty clear that you have to work collaboratively. The other key emerging trend that we have seen is the trend of site reliability, where we have seen very little between production support and application development. For example, if I'm a site reliability engineer, I need to spend 40% of my time on production support and 60% of my time on application development. So there are there's no differentiation between an application development and a application support group. It's a unified ecosystem. So we are not there yet as service providers, but I think if you see the cloud native or the born cloud enterprises, and I can quote some Twitters and Facebooks of the world, they don't have an application development and an application support or an infrastructure support team. What they've got is specialized architects and specialized software developers and a whole lot of site reliability engineers. So the field of site reliability is going to pick up. And the reason why I'm stating this is because as we move or as we pivot from the legacy to the cloud, it is extremely important for us to understand that the cloud has got a different framework that one needs to subscribe to. And that framework is lighter if you know automation and if you know how to use the cloud service providers interface to the best. And it will give you an opportunity to scale up and start doing a whole lot of upstream activities of application development. In terms of what's there for me, I think you have to now transform, upskill, and reinvent, and start looking at getting into your newer version. It can be a 2.0 version or a 3.0 version or a 4.0. I think one thing is clear today, that learning is continuous. We have to constantly upgrade ourselves, constantly uh, be in search of newer knowledge. There are a lot of digital platforms that are there. The NASCOM, our own NASCOM has launched a platform called Future Skills. I guess more or less this platform is available to all the NASCOM members, and it's a pretty rich platform. The reason why I'm telling you this is because it comes at a it's available to more or less all of us, and if your companies are NASCOM members, you will get access to the platform. So please use that. So the content there is curated by experts. So not only you will find live sessions that are recorded, live sessions in a sense, live seminars that were done in conferences being recorded. You will have content that is curated by NASCOM themselves. You will have content that is contributed by some of the industry experts. They've voluntarily submitted certain things which are of unique and of great value. You can find those things, so you'll find a whole lot of unique and good stuff there. So please use that. And I think certify yourself, keep on learning. I think when we graduate from our colleges, the only way to be relevant and to spend focused time to get ourselves into a regime of learning is to get certifications. So I have also practiced this as a part of my journey so far, where I've every 2 to 3 years got myself recertified into something, or certified myself into something new. So that's a focused attempt to have dedicated time kept aside to learn new things and learn the things at the foundation level and get ourselves certified. With that said, I'm going to hand it over to Vishal. I think I'm at the end of the session and I've got 6 minutes left. So Vishal, you can take it over.
Thanks a lot, Rahul. I would like to thank you for such an amazing session, full of real life examples and the new initiative examples which you gave to all the participants. I am pretty much sure that all participants would have gained knowledge from this webinar session. I'll quickly request all of you to send us the questions if you have. For next 5-10 minutes, we'll be taking all the questions and trying to answer them. I'll request again to send in your questions so that we can answer. Uh, so we have got few of the questions. I'll read it for you, Rahul.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, the first question is how will an organization start with digital transformation journey? Where will they start from?
Well, I think the answer is simple. I think well, the digital journey starts by first classifying the need of the business. The need is driven through multiple problems that we are trying to solve, or a vision that we need to drive. The enterprise can look at, and I'll give you one example to explain what I'm saying here. See, if I need to drive business growth, I'll have to look at understanding where the growth is and how the growth can be driven, and then come up with our digital programs that are aligned to that particular business objective. Now, if I have a different scenario where I have to solve a customer problem, the customer is facing issues with my current services, and I have to fix it. Then the only way, if I feel that the only way I can fix it by looking at coming up with newer digital initiatives. My digital strategy starts there. So it starts by understanding the problem, coming up with a vision, setting up the roadmap, assessing the impact of the program, investments required, and so on. So there's a big, I would say, strategy that needs to go behind setting up. When I say big, it's a very detailed strategy that needs to go behind setting up a digital program.
All right, thank you. The next question is there are multiple questions coming up on site reliability engineering, Rahul.
Hmm. Hmm.
So I'll just collaborate couple of questions together and send it to you. The questions are:
Yeah.
can you give us can you give us some more light on site reliability engineering and what is its future in terms of career growth?
That's a very nice question. So if you are a site reliability engineer today, you have a job even in these bad times, let me tell you. Okay. So I hope you've understood what I'm trying to say here. Site reliability as an engineering stream is going to be the future, if you ask me, because as we move upstream towards cloud, there is a need for us to have people who understand both the development and the support aspect together. And today, the techniques of agile and DevOps and rapid rollout of the newer services is done much faster and seamless by the born cloud companies, because they are using this site reliability as a overall IT support ecosystem. When I say support, it's not production support, but also support for application development. So there are benefits, and the reason why this is important is because it is driven on the backbone of automation. Site reliability engineers, in terms of the site reliability terms, they focus on reducing waste. Okay. Their primary focus is to automate and only look at things that cannot be automated. And that is the reason why this entire stream is going to be area to focus, not only for service providers like us, but also for enterprises like Amazon, Flipkart, and others who are already practicing it, and will then going forward multiply their focus on site reliability to make sure that they have the best support and development ecosystem.
All right. So I have again few questions coming up on this similar topic, I would say, that is digital transformation courses about the future, what all is included in the certification. So with your permission, Rahul, if I can answer this question.
Absolutely, I think you are the best to answer this.
Thanks a lot. I would share if everybody can see my screen, this is a digital transformation officer certification course. And in brief, you can see there are three stages with all the certifications which are included in this. Digital transformation certification includes five certifications, starting from Agile Scrum Foundation, DevOps Practitioner, Cloud Computing Foundation, Cybersecurity and a certified data science professional certification as well. So upon the completion of this certification, you will be given these five certifications. And regarding the career growth, I would say this is one of the hottest certifications currently we are serving to candidates like you. So let me move on to other questions, Rahul. We are getting a lot of questions, but I guess we won't be able to answer all of them. Let's try to answer few of those. So we have one question from Biswati Banerjee. He's asking us, automation can bring in efficiency in service industry. However, it takes away the human interactions which might affect your customer experience. How can we balance both and draw a line so that efficiency doesn't get hampered in terms of customer experience?
So the voice was breaking. So what I understand is automation is breaking the human aspect. That's what the broad question is. Is that what it is? Can you repeat it, please?
I Let me repeat the question. The question is, automation can bring in efficiency in service
Uh-huh.
industry. However, it takes the human interactions which might affect the customer experience. So, how can
Yeah.
we
So I'll
balance
answer
both?
that.
And, yeah,
Yeah. So I can explain. I think this is a very good question. The only way I can answer this is there is no satisfaction on doing routine repetitive things day in day out. I don't think anyone wants support engineers or IT executives to do routine stuff on a daily basis. So look at the workloads, look at the relevant workloads where you can automate, and these workloads can be backend workloads where there is a very minimal customer interface that is required. Today, if you look at the best practices, all the L0, L1, L1.5 activities are more or less considered as workloads for automation. Here, I don't think even the customer worries about monitoring, triage, sending, how you're generating report, or how you're actually trying to do the initial response for a change. All that can be considered as workloads for automation. When it comes to activities or workloads where you really need to engage with the customer, I'm not saying replace that with bots, but in the IT industry, the mindset is, and we started this industry grew pretty rapidly in the last 20 years, and we started by doing everything manual. But look at the manufacturing industry, and if you're from Bangalore, you can walk down to the MTR production, uh, uh, the factory that is there in Electronic City, and I can tell you they are the classic example of how manufacturing was uh, 25 years back. There used to be hundreds and thousands of people. Now if you go down to the MTR factory, you will get not more than 10 or 20. Everything is automated, right from the vermicelli production to the packaging, even the loading of the big gunny bags. It's all done in a digitized manner. A truck comes, the gunny bags are loaded, it gets automatically weighed, and the truck dispatches. There's no storage. It's just in time production. The reason why I'm telling you this is, use automation where it is required the most to take out uh, the waste, quote unquote, inside reliability terms, which is repetitive mundane activities, and focus more on areas where you really need customer interactions, so that you get the best out of both.
all right. Thanks a lot, Rahul. On this note, I would like to conclude this session. I would like to thank you for this amazing session and the patience you showed in answering the questions. And I would like to thank all of the participants who joined us today. And as I said initially, these webinar sessions are a knowledge sharing initiative by Novel Vista. You can simply send us a hi on the WhatsApp and on the mentioned number on the screen, And there are some more webinars which you can see, which are scheduled for the rest of this month. You can get registered yourself by clicking on the registration link which is mentioned there on the screen, or simply send us a WhatsApp notification and we will get you added. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Rahul.
Thank you. And stay safe, stay home, guys. Take care. Bye bye.
Yes, thank you.